Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rob.
I'm Sabrina.
We have an exciting episode today. We put in a mini split in our common area and we love it so much that we decided to put in another
on the other side of the house.
Yep. So we're actually partnering with Innovair. They are a great company. That's the unit we had before. This is their 38 SEER, which if you don't know HVAC talk, 38 SEER is ridiculously efficient. I mean, that's 20 SEER is pretty good. This guy right here is 19 and it barely pulls any wattage. So 38 SEER, I'm a little excited. So we're going to walk through this step by step with you guys, show you how easy it is to put these things in, and it might be something you would be interested in. Alright guys, so let's get this guy unboxed. I'm going to show you what's in the unit, and throughout the video I'm going to show you what we bought separately to do the install in case you guys decide to do this on your own. Now keep in mind that this company works technically with licensed installers. They're a professional grade company. However, I feel most DIYers can handle this, and I'm going to show you toward the end of the video what sets this company apart from one of those very expensive DIY install mini split companies that I think you guys can handle. So let's get into this. So the unit comes very well packaged. Came on a pallet, banded, wrapped, so definitely good delivery. Now this smaller box on the top is what they call either a head unit or the air handler part, which actually goes inside. And then the bottom is the condenser part that goes outside. Alright, so let's get into this top unit. See what we got. Packaged well. Now that's a fancy remote. Look at it. Look at that thing. Woohoo, doggy. Alright, so we have the remote control manual and we have the owner's manual to this unit. And it gives you all the specs and how to use everything, so that's pretty cool. Looks like it comes with a mounting hardware for the remote control, so that'll be good. And they even provide batteries. Man, we got you covered here. Looks like we got some wall anchors for the unit. Oh, that's probably for, yeah, that probably goes with this. So wall anchors, screws, everything here. A little neoprene sleeve for your copper. So here on the back, we're going to have our bracket. And you have your copper lines and then your drain line, and then we'll also have a power control cable that goes from the outside unit to the inside unit. So we flip this guy over. Alright, so let's see what we got in the bottom here. We have our copper and our drain line. Very well wrapped in this nice neoprene insulation. So you can tell this one's a high-end unit. And there's another copper and a little flange to go through the wall. Looks like we got our compressor in here. So our control cable, power and control cable for the two units. Looks like we got our wrap for our copper lines. We got a drain for the outside unit. Some rubber grommets, and here is your owner and installation manual, and look at how thick that is. So if you guys have any concerns about doing this yourself and wondering step-by-step procedure, this manual is very comprehensive, and they have great tech support here in the US as well, so if you run into any problems, just give them a call. They've been very helpful for us. Alright guys, so now we are in the bedroom where we're going to mount the unit. We're going to put it right here on the wall so that it actually can go across the room and then out in the hallway as well. I'm going to start taking this apart and we're going to get the bracket lined up. So it looks like they got a screw back here, probably just for shipping. And the bracket's going to come off. A couple tabs at the bottom. And that's it, there's your mounting bracket. So we're going to give about 8 inches of clearance from the ceiling to let this thing take in some air. And I'm going to center it right here between the window and the wall. So I've already made a couple marks. Here's my center line. There's my 8 inches from the ceiling. And I've identified a couple studs in the wall that I can mount this to. So let me get it level and we'll get it mounted up there. Alright guys, so we got the bracket mounted. I got about 8 inches off the ceiling so we get some good airflow into the unit. It's centered on the wall here. Next thing I'm going to do is have to take my measurements to get my copper a hole through the wall, and that way we can feed the copper, the drain, and the communication cables out to the outside unit. Alright, so when you're bending this copper, just be really careful not to tweak it. It's real nice and easy. We're going to go straight to the back like that. We're going to move the drain line over too. There's a couple ports for drain lines, so we're going to move this from over here so it comes out all in one spot. Plug in over here. Otherwise you're going to have a mess. We're going to move the drain over here. Alright guys, so I made my measurements on the wall here. Make sure there's nothing in the wall as far as studs for all the lines to go through. I'm going to use a 2.5 inch hole saw, drill in this side, and then I'm going to come from the inside or the outside and then drill back in, and we'll put the sleeve in. Alright guys, so now we got the inside unit installed, everything fed outside, so let's get out there and finish that install. Alright, we're going to unroll this copper. Just be really careful when you bend this stuff. It's kind of fragile, you don't want to kink it. Alright guys, so I mentioned that there's a couple things that we bought separately. Now this is something optional for you, but it's just a line cover that goes on the outside for the siding to cover up the line set. So again, that's something you need to have, but it's going to make it look a little bit better. Just releasing the nitrogen from the inside unit. Pressure test it. Perfectly normal. So I like to use a little nylog on my connections. Move it on the threads. Put it on the top, not too much. Alright guys, so I'm outside. You saw that we just hooked up the copper lines. We used some nylon on our connections. That seals it up nice. Just make sure you have really tight fittings on the lines that are coming in. We're getting ready to wire the 220 to it. Now, if you're comfortable electric, you know, you have your disconnect outside here. We're putting in a liquid tied whip to the connectors here, and you're going to wire in your 220 per the wiring diagram. We're also going to hook up the control wire that goes to the inside unit. They don't really have any type of box attachments. You can either use a wire connector here, or I like to use a wire gland, which will fit in here and just make this nice and watertight. So again, if you're not comfortable with the electric part, definitely hire that out. And if you are, this should be pretty easy. So. Alright guys, so here is the trick between the expensive DIY units out there and this professional unit that I think anybody could get. Is a pump like this and some cheap gauges. You can pick these up at Harbor Freight or Amazon or eBay, pretty much anywhere. Probably under 150 bucks. You also need a little mini split adapter to hook onto this unit. At this point, I've had my lines connected, I have my power connected. You could certainly hire an HVAC professional come in at this point and do this part for you. These units, they do not come with pre-charged lines, so we have to take all that, evacuate the lines, we have to take all the air out. But this unit has refrigerant in it, so once we clear those lines, make sure we have no leaks, I can open up the valve, release the refrigerant, and we should have a running mini split at that point. So let's pump this out for about 15 minutes. We'll let it hold pressure for 15 minutes, and we'll know we're good. Alright, it's been 15 minutes. We've evacuated the lines. Now we've sealed it up. We're going to wait 15 minutes and make sure that this pressure gauge does not drop at all. If it drops, we know we have a leak. If it doesn't drop, then we know we're good and we can release the Freon or refrigerant into the system. But while I'm out of here, I want to show you guys something pretty cool. Right here, this is actually the energy guide rating for the energy efficiency of things. The most efficient unit is 30.5. This unit is rated at 38. Alright, it's been 15 minutes of holding pressure. Needle hasn't moved, so it's time to release some refrigerant into the lines and hopefully get this thing fired up. Alright, so we got this thing up and running, and it is in turbo mode cooling, so it is basically pulling as much juice as it's going to pull in cooling mode. And I put a clamp meter on it just to see how many amps we're drawing. I want to see actually what this thing pulls, and right now on one leg it is pulling 4.71 amps, which for an air conditioning unit, that is next to nothing. So this thing is super efficient. Alright guys, so it's been about a week since we installed this unit. You saw us go step by step, show you what was in the box, and so far the verdict is...
It's freezing.
This thing is great. It's awesome. Super quiet, super efficient, keeps the humidity down in here. What I really like about it is that in the bedroom we don't have to run the AC in the entire house at night. We can just climate control the room that we're in, and we can turn off the rest of the unit. So I think just that alone would save a lot of energy.
And it pretty much replaced his fan, because he's somebody who always needs a fan, and in this has this great feature. It's an oscillating feature, and basically it goes down, it will go back up, it'll go side to side, so it really circulates the air throughout the room, which is great.
Yep. So all in all, this unit is super efficient. If you guys were looking to do something, say off-grid or run on solar or something like that, and you still want air conditioning, something like this guy would definitely be a great option if you have a two-phase system.
We also been using the app, which is great.
Yep, got the app on my phone so I can control it anywhere in the house via Wi-Fi. But other than that, I mean...
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep, nice easy install for an advanced DIYer. Very cost efficient to put in and very cost efficient to operate. So this is definitely going to be a staple in any property we have moving forward.
And if you like silence, this is the perfect thing to install.
Right. All right, guys, so thank you again for tuning into this video. Hopefully you learned something. Maybe you'll consider putting a mini split in your place.
All right, we'll catch you next time.
Take it easy.
Bye now.